Welcome.
Welcome back to the Chrysalis Studios YouTube channel, to our van build. This is episode number 2. We're doing the floors this time. Yeah, it's a good place to start for our van.
Floors are pretty straightforward. You don't need very much, not too expensive. You can get everything we use at Lowe's or Home Depot.
But there are some little tricks and things that make it easier, so we'll share some of our experience with making ours and what we do different, and yeah.
We are off to get some more work done. I'm doing some window shopping back here. We're gonna get started on these floors. Put in the insulation and my kombucha just slid to the totally safe. This was the first of many trips to Lowe's.
Yep.
It's happening. So we use this spray adhesive to attach the foam board insulation to the bottom of our floors. And we decided to do it this way because we wanted to save as little height as possible. We didn't want to make our floors too tall, so we still had plenty of clearance on the ceiling.
Yep. I'm 6'1", I have an inch and a half of clearance in the ceiling, which is just enough. I can still wear this hat and it doesn't fall off. But yeah, a lot of people, you could frame out your floor and put a lot of insulation, but you don't lose that much heat through the floor. A lot of it's through the ceiling and walls, windows. So we just did what we could to keep our floor from not being frozen, but also giving a good solid surface to make sure our furniture doesn't slide around. And
Yep. The next thing is we had to actually template out the curves of the van so that way we could fit the plywood onto the floor.
I guess there's a few ways to template, but the way that Niels was telling me how it was to pick a point in the ruler or square or any straight object, and you just measure that point along the edge of the wall, marking at the same point, and you essentially make a little connect the dots, and after you mark it, you go back through, line them up, then you can cut and then compare and then make adjustments as you need. And it worked really well.
This was the first saw experience of the van build, and we're definitely a little bit more timid with power tools.
Oh, totally. I look like I haven't held a saw in 20 years.
Looking back on this video, it's funny to see how much we learned throughout the whole process.
But that was a very straight and clean cut, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first and most awkward piece fit pretty well, so we were feeling good. And then the last two are just basically just cut to make sure.
Yeah!
Yeah.
We made a floor!
Subfloor, I guess.
Lisa! Ah! We made a floor!
The plywood pieces are, what are they, 6 foot by, they're 4 foot by 8 feet, I believe. And so we got 3 of them, so we could span the length of the van is 12 feet in floor space from the edge of the front seats to the back of the van. So we got 4 of those and then templated out the wheel wells on one of them and then just cut the other 2 to length and kind of measured to make sure they fit around any ribs. And yeah, but it was nice because 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, and we didn't have to do any paneling or anything like that. It was pretty straightforward.
And before we put the floors down, we did have to measure where all the ribs were located, because you do need to screw pretty much everything that you're screwing into the walls into the high part of the ribs. So we just measured those and then put screws in. We tried to be a little bit minimal with the amount of screws that we put in the floor, just to avoid rusty holes.
Yeah, we could have put no screws, but I don't know. We have furniture that's in the floor, and it would be weird if the floor came up and
yeah.
Like, it was pretty snug in there, but you never know what could happen. We've been over some pretty crazy bumps where stuff is bounced everywhere, so.
Yep. And once we got that screwed in, we just took Great Stuff foam insulation and just...
Why'd you put it in quotes?
Well, that's what it's called.
Yeah, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I didn't want people to think I was just saying, like, this great stuff, and they're like, well, what's it called?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see. So that was, like, grammatically
Yeah.
correct. I was like, it was great.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great. We filled all the cracks and everything, and I feel like that created a pretty good seal. I don't think anything's getting under there.
Mm-mm. And it's very satisfying to...
Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
And then once it puffs up and dried, we just scrape it off.
And this tool is not... I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's for drywall, but it was the grabbiest thing we could think of to scrape it off.
Yep. And so we chose to do a vinyl sheet of flooring. You could also get vinyl planks that you kind of piece together, but they're just a little bit more rigid, so you might end up having them come apart or break. And this is just all one piece, so it's just going to be a nice waterproof surface. All we had to do was cut it to the whole shape and glue it down. I feel like it was, and it's very thin also, so
Yeah.
we didn't.
It's like 1/8 of an inch thick. But yeah, there's no seams, which means any water or dirt or snow or kombucha that is spilt, we could clean it off really easy. And we don't have to make a bunch of crazy cuts. Like, I don't know, this seemed like the best option for us.
Yeah. And it was pretty affordable also.
Yeah, they came in essentially like big 13-foot wide sheets of vinyl flooring, and then we just got, I think, like 6.5 feet long, and then we just turned that the opposite direction for our van, because it's 6 feet wide and then 12 foot, and then we just cut the excess off.
So this is our vinyl flooring, which we cut to size, but one slight little mistake is that we cut it with the floorboards upside down, so this actually needs to be flipped over. But luckily Weston left a really good amount of space on the edges, so I guess now is the moment of truth, but we'll see if it will fit in the van. So what was the adhesive we put on? It's like a carpet adhesive?
Yeah, it's like for carpet and just flooring. It's kind of like putty, like almost like grout, but stickier, smoother.
And you say it was good to leave ridges when you scrape it?
Yeah, well, when you scrape it, you're supposed to put enough to stick it on there, but also have space for air, because that's what helps the adhesive dry and stay flat, is having like air pockets. But I don't know, I guess when we did it, I was unsure of how much. Essentially, you're supposed to scrape it away. You just leave the teeth, you leave the ridges. It tells you like what tooth, I forget what it's called, spreader thing. And that's supposed to create the air pockets, but I left too much of a layer of glue. And so when we put this first one down, it started to wrinkle up, and the glue is like sitting in different puddles, and it was a pain to get it to be flat.
We also didn't have a roller either, so we were just using leftover wooden boards to try and slide
we
it
used
out.
like 8 different things to roll it because we didn't have a rolling pin at the house, and we also didn't buy a roller to do it. So yeah.
Hindsight. Our floor looks good now, though.
Yeah, you actually can't notice any of the bubbles. So I guess the glue is just dried over time, or we've just stepped on it enough, and so it's not the end of the world if your floor turns out a little wrinkly.
So you know how when you used a glue stick on a piece of paper and you put too much glue and it all just kind of clumps up underneath the paper and becomes a soggy mess?
We did that with our floor.
And also, listen to the instructions when it says that you need a 70-pound stand-up rolling pin to roll out these kind of floors. Because we are trying to roll out these wrinkles with wooden boards. And
it's working, but too much glue, no rolling pin, an extra 2 hours of work.
this is how the floor turned out. I haven't gotten to show y'all in the daylight. So I've still got to trim this edge right here. But for the most part, we're pretty happy with how it turned out. We're really struggling to get the air bubbles. And there's a few spots like right there if you can see, but that is going to be covered by the bed. So we later went and trimmed it all the way and put silicone around the outside. Water is inevitably going to spill all over the floor, so best to be prepared to not let it get underneath the floor, cause mold. And Weston's mom was telling me that it's actually you would think that the more silicone you put, the better it's going to be, but it's actually good to spread it out really thin.
It makes like a suction as it dries and gets watertight. And so if you have a bunch of like clumps and there's like little air pockets, and water will eventually find its way through any spaces.
So we just used a piece of cardboard to spread it out. I'm sure you could also put on a glove and use your finger.
Someone told me if you like dip your finger in water and run it on there, it works. I tried it once and I got all over my finger, but it may work, who knows.
And so after that, we did have the raw edge right out by the doors, on the front door and the back door. So we just got this trim piece. There's a metal trim piece from Lowe's, and we just cut it to shape, and it was a perfect little right angle, and really kind of sealed it in. Just screwed that into the plywood, and I feel like it made it look really clean.
And we thought we might like end up stepping on the screws, but it hasn't got caught on anything, or it's been really nice.
And that's how we build our floors.
That's it.
So not too complicated, not too expensive, but does everything we need it to. And it looks really nice. It looks like we have a whole hardwood floor.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you built the floor in your van, if you have one, or how you do it. And I don't know, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
And so for the day that we're going to be posting the videos, I think we determined Saturday. I know today's not Saturday, but you know, life happens. But expect the rest of our videos to be coming out every Saturday. Van build Saturday.
Okay. And then we have a bunch of other content. We've been out here for like almost 2 months. We're about to get into the winter season, so look forward to posting a bunch of ski content and snow stuff and our cats in costumes. And
Weston's a sick snowboarder, so get ready for some backflips.
Yeah, totally.
We've got lots of fun stuff coming. So excited to be sharing them with y'all. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time.